So I did a cleaning video the other day and you didn't really get to see me full on, face on. So I just decided I would do this video. I'm just going to talk about the books I've been reading lately. I used to have a booktube channel which is called, I think, the same name as this channel now, but I deleted it a year or two ago, I think 2016 probably. But I'm just trying to make a whole bunch of videos just in my life, and right now I'm actually procrastinating on doing more cleaning. So I wanted to talk about the books I've been reading. Now really what I've been reading is all the same series. So a funny story is a few weeks ago I got a notification from my library saying the books I'd put on hold had arrived. And I was looking through the email and there were books I remember putting on hold, like an origami book to teach my son some origami, I think a cookbook because he wants to learn cooking. And then there was this other one. It was called something like Akani. I don't know how to say it. I don't have it with me right now because I don't know where I put it. But it was the first book in the Medoran Chronicles by Lynette Noni. So this is the second book in the series. But yeah, so the first book I had this alert that it was there and I was like, what? So I read the blurb and it seemed kind of interesting, about a girl that falls into another world and there's a library. And so I was like, okay, I'll just check it out and have a look. And I read it, I started reading it I think about 11 o'clock that night. I finished it about 1 o'clock the next day. So I did sleep that night, but I got it read so quickly. And then I quickly put this one and then the Dracora, which is the third one in the series, on hold at the library. And while I was waiting for them, first one actually got chewed up by someone. Yeah, that's what he's got to say about it. But he chewed up the first one, only in the corner, but it's a library book. You don't chew up library books. So I still haven't told the library that happened. But these arrived, and so I read them, and I read them one day each, which they're each about 400 pages. And then there were 2 more books so far out in the series. Another one's coming out in February. And so I looked on the library and it was Thursday, I think, by this point. The books were, one of them was available, the 4th book was available, but it was available in a town called Esk, which is about half an hour from where I live. And so on the Friday, in the middle of a really hot day, like one of the first really hot days we've had in months and months and months, like pure stinking hot, I decide, okay, I'm gonna drive up to Esk. So yes, drove half an hour. My car doesn't have aircon. My best friend was having a baby. I, was a nervous wreck because she was having her C-section right when I'm doing this, and it kind of kept me distracted because driving calms me. So I get up to Esk Library and I find on the shelf this book. And there's a young lady there at the library that I know from my library because they're all connected. And I'm telling her, I've just driven all the way up just to grab this book. And she's laughing and she's like, I have to read that series. And I'm like, yeah, I've almost read it all except the novella. Well, the 3 novellas in the one book. And she's like, oh, don't you want to borrow that? And I was like, no, it's borrowed out. It said online when I checked about an hour ago that it is due back like the 30th of October or something crazy like that, which was like a week or 2 away. And she was like, wait, it just got returned. So then I borrowed Greyville, which is the 4th one in the series, and we Three Heroes, which is, I think it comes after this one, yeah. So it fits in like this. So you've got the first book here, and then you've got Raylia, Dracora, Gravel, We Three Heroes. And then the 5th book is coming out in February. So yeah, I read each of these one day each. And then I started rereading them. And because they were just that addictive. So when I was rereading them, I was rereading Dracora, and we went out and I left it, I think, on the couch or on the kitchen bench, and somebody decided to chew it up. This time he got more larger pieces of the book. So there's entire, that's probably a whole chapter is chewed up there that you can't even reread, because when he ate the first one, he just did the little corner, which meant that like 3 or 4 words on some pages were eaten. But yeah, thankfully I was already past this part. So I'm rereading this still. Then I'm doing it slower this time. Like I binge read the whole series, 1 book per day. And then now I'm just going a bit slower, so just about 30 pages a day or something. But I'm getting there. And then I've got to return to the library and admit to the library what I did, or what my dog did. So Iluka is an evil puppy. And yeah, but this is pretty much all I've been reading lately, except I did finally start the Percy Jackson series. So if you know the Percy Jackson series, it uses like Greek mythology mixed in with like a modern day story, kind of like a Harry Potter thing where you find out you're some fancy dude and important to everyone, and yeah, and then you go on a quest and you defeat bad guys, and yeah. So I listened, did it really out of order. I listened to the 2nd book as an audiobook from my library because I needed an audiobook, as I listen to audiobooks when I clean the house. And that's the only one that was available that interested me, because my library's listened to almost every audiobook I'm interested in from my library. So I listened to the 2nd one, and then I read the 1st book. I think I'm like 3/4 of the way through the 1st book, and then I'll go on to the 3rd book. But yeah, that's just the way I'm doing it. But yeah, so I don't know, I'm not getting heaps of reading done. I used to read a lot more for pretty much since we moved back to Queensland. I've been more into audiobooks than physical books. We used to live in Tasmania, and it was cold and it was cuddly. You could just sit down and read a book. And we didn't have such an active lifestyle. Like, we have so many activities happening here. We've always got something on with family, with scouts, with little athletics, with just community, just the dog needs to go for a walk and all this. And so we're always out. And so it's really hard to binge read, which is my main way of reading a book. So yeah, I'm just getting through it other ways. Yeah, but I really recommend you read these books. So I don't want to give much away. Just that, yeah, this girl falls into another planet, like basically another planet. So another world, and it's a world where some magic exists, and there's a magic library that sends her basically on a quest. Sort of. Not as weird as it sounds. Okay, in some ways it's weirder than it sounds, and other ways it's not as weird as it sounds. And I am insane trying to explain that. So yeah, pick it up and have a look. You'll see why I love them. And it's actually an Australian author. She lives on the Sunshine Coast, and I messaged her a picture of Iluka and the story of how I found her books, and she thought it was awesome, and she shared the picture of Iluka, so that was pretty cool. And yeah, so, oh, see, look at that. I was wondering why that page was sticking out and was bugging me. It's like all shredded down here. Ugh. All of my books have been locked away in boxes for months now because someone ate one of my Winnie the Pooh books, which I've really got to buy to replace it. So yeah, my books are normally not out until I can buy glass covered bookshelves, and then I'll finally have my books back. But for now, even library books are getting put up the top of the cleaning cupboard because that is the best place where I've got extra room and he can't reach them because he can open doors, he can open cupboards, he can even open drawers when he really wants to. He can get onto tables, he can get on chairs, he can get on the kitchen benches. Like, this dog is more human than dog. Okay, so yeah, I'd love to know if anyone else is reading something different, whether it's fiction or non-fiction. I read all kinds, but I'm in a fiction binge at the moment. So yeah, let me know. See ya!